character. It was a very cloudy day. It was wet, and you can see the roads here. It doesn't look very wet, but it is. I have the fenders that I took. They call Nago out.
Because it's not raining, but the roads are damp. You know. Well, I'm glad I have the fenders on this bike because the roads are still wet. It's not raining, but it's a mess, and I am dry. Even my shoe covers have not a speck of dirt on them. Normally, without these, they'll be filthy by now. They'll be filthy. So, turn the camera around. If you don't have any fenders, or as they say in the U.S., mud guards, you should consider looking at them, because these SKS fenders are just nondescript. You know, they're out of the way and they just function. This is great. So I'm looking forward to this ride today. And this is the kind of day that most people shy away from. So usually the turn eye is pretty low. But I need a workout, because after this ride I'm going on a bit of a short break with my wife, and I'm not going to be riding tomorrow, so I want my legs to be tired when I'm done today. So yeah, so definitely look into getting some fenders on your bike if you're going to ride when it's wet. I mean, take a look at the road down there. There's water over there. I'm going to see that shot. I don't know if you can see that really well. The pavement is damp, and it stopped raining hours ago, but it was like in the wee hours of the morning. So the roads are going to stay this way. Plus it's foggy and overcast. There's no sun right now. It's not going to dry out very easily. So something to think about. The UMC here.
This is where I meet the group on Saturday.
Morning, guys.
That's Alan in the front, all in black. Bob in yellow.
Hey, man. How you doing?
There's Paul in blue.
Morning.
And I was on a small chainring, so I'm shifting up to get up to speed. It's a new guy. He's ridden with us in the past. Thomas. There. With the white helmet and just rolled by. Thomas made a comment about fit as a fiddle. I said, well, I try to keep fit, but life happens. That's what that was about. Yeah, Thomas hooked up with me on Strava over the weekend. So.
All right, man. Nice. I like the combo. I like the blue.
We're talking about our kids.
Hey. Nah, but I decided to go with the San Rafael. Yeah, old school all the way. Look at my fenders, man. Yeah. Well, I got up about 4:45. Walked outside. Everything was still wet. I'm like, gotta use the fenders. Staying there. You gotta use the fenders.
Yeah, the fenders came in handy. The roads were wet. They stayed wet for the whole ride pretty much. It rained a lot.
Oh man, that healed.
Paul had a mishap last week and he scratched his elbow. It's already healed in a week. Yeah, so that's pretty good.
That's good.
Battle scars.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Alan in the front. You can barely see him in black. He's all in a black kid. Alan is my buddy. He has the Savello.
Yeah,
bike. I used his
just
bike to make his slamming video.
over there.
What's
his name? Kurt. Yeah, Kurt. Now last week they didn't come this way because I did not see them. Yeah, they didn't come this way.
You were
I
talking about the bike
spotted them.
barn.
Yeah, nice, man. I like
Yeah, it's nondescript, man,
Yeah.
and it works, man.
I see
the
you
first-
got your gear.
Oh, yeah, the Piogia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting prepared, my man.
I don't have to clean up. When I get back, I just peel it off.
Talking about my kit. Peugeot 3 and the fenders.
So I went outside about 5 o'clock and the roads were still damp. I'm like, it's going to be overcast. It's not going to dry up. So I figured I got it on the bike. Because I was going to bring the blue bike. I think I got on the bike. Let me bring it out.
And the funny thing is, once everybody saw my fenders on this ride, everybody wanted to follow me. You didn't have to get sprayed in your face. And that's why you notice I'm staying back, because the roads are wet. In fact, I moved over. We're going to be turning soon to avoid the spray. But, you know, I got some spray on me, but once people found out I had the fenders, they were like, we need to follow you. And then I mentioned that there are clubs in the UK.
Keep my cadence from...
There were clubs in the UK that do not allow you to ride without fenders
I'm tired on the roads.
when it rains. So I've never had fenders on my bike. These are well made. They're a little fiddly to put on, but once they're there, you're done. I've had no problems with them, and you know, I left them on the bike. In fact, but it's good. Just easy cleanup afterwards.
The dynamics.
I did a short video of just how clean the bike was after this ride, even though the roads were messy. Now this group usually, this is the UMC group, Uno Mas Cerveza, one more beer. We have the guy on the right with a red and white kit in front of this guy in the, looks like an orange kind of, this guy right here, Mustard. He brews, and he's very, very good. He brews some nice beer. And he also has very good culinary skills.
So you just got the message that it was low? Oh, there's a head unit usually.
Talking about his battery on the Garmin. Garmin crapped out, the battery crapped out. The reading on his Garmin for his vector pedals.
They stay on, okay.
I
Gotcha.
think that he said when he's on the trainer and you use the vector, I guess the battery stays on, so they're out. He's not getting the reading. So he's the brewer on the right, Mustard. Excellent brewer, excellent chef. Well, he's not a professional chef, but he can cook. So we got a lot of different skills in this group. That's Tom over there on the left, right in front of me here. We're heading north to the Woodland Hills. We've got the wind behind us. I'm hanging back over here because of the spray and the fact that I just don't want a mouthful of water right now. Look at the roads. You can see all the water. I mean, it's coming off the grass in the middle. When it rains a lot, it drains for a long time. And it's wet. You see the camera has water on it from bike. So they're not that far ahead of me, but it appears with this wide angle that they are. That's Kurt I just passed. He's falling off the pace. The pace is picking up here. And you watch my speed, and I'm ramping the speed up. I'm not spinning today. My plan was to make sure I did like a weight workout on the bike. So I plan to keep my cadence 60 to 85 thereabouts, which is about 20 to 30 RPMs below where I normally build. You know, for most of the ride, I mean, you know, there are times when I spun. But my plan was to just keep my cadence lower than normal and use heavier gears. So here, I'm basically trying to move up. You can see, if you look up there, you can see people. I've got the camera on the handlebars, so the point of view is different. It's kind of directly behind. So you're going to notice that I spend most of the ride staying to the left because it's on the left handlebar, the traffic side of the handlebar. So I stayed to the left of whatever wheel I was behind, just so you guys would get a good view. the handlebar today just to see what it would look like for a change. I think the helmet position is a higher point of view. We're getting out in the open roads now. We're leaving the subdivision. And this is where things pick up. So we lost a member of the group. This is not a no-drop ride. He knows the route. He knows where we stop. We usually at the stop we regroup. So he'll regroup with us. But right now everybody's warmed up. And it's about 47 minutes into it. My legs are warmed up. Right here is a 1.5%. And I'm moving up to tell Paul to take it easy. So I tell him in Spanish.
Tranquilo.
Because his back, he looks like he's riding pretty good, but sometimes you get in a group and you get drawn into stuff, you get all excited, you forget. So I told him give it an extra week so he can fully heal before you start going full blast. I just came to remind him. Every time the road goes up, people feel like you got to put a lot of force on the pedals. So now we're out in the open area here. We're heading out. It's nice as where we have fewer stop signs. So we're heading out. You can see the road's wet. So everybody wanted to be on my wheel once they found out I had fenders. And so I rolled to the front without trying because the pace is hard right now. You can hear the wind, even though we're heading into the wind, but we've turned west and the wind is on our right. So there's like a crosswind from the right. It's the north breeze. It was a north breeze on Saturday. So, there's always wind there when you go fast enough. So for me, I'm right at the top of zone 3, ready to cross over into zone 4. So it's like, heart rate is dropping again. I'm using very low cadence, 78. I never pedal in those ranges, but today I decided to put it in a big gear. I'm probably in a 53.16, I'm thinking, or something like that, which is big. If I'm in a 53.16 normally, we're doing 27, 28 or more, So, because I spin. But I wanted to feel my legs do like a weight workout on the bike. That was my plan for this ride. And so,
Careful on the corner.
it's slick and wet. This is smooth asphalt. So that's Thomas. He doesn't ride with us all the time, so it's good to see a new face. And seems to be doing well on his own. So I'm grinding the gear, and you look at my kid at 68. I've got people behind me from that corner that kind of lost contact. So I wasn't in a hurry to get up to these guys. So I gradually got the acceleration. You can see my speed is up, my cadence is not that high up. So I'm in the big gears back there and just, powering them. Gotta be able to ride heavy gears from time to time. There's a couple here with a couple of dogs and they walked in the grass, so we moved over. We saw them last week. So I was walking on Saturday. I like this pavement here. This is just beautiful, smooth asphalt. It sings to you. When it's dry, if I have like my Victorias on the bike, they sing on this pavement. They did a great job here. Different cast of characters. We have some of the people that were there last week. Bob in the yellow was wearing white last week. Alan was wearing the BMC black and white kit.
Watch the corners.
I'm not sure why I turned the camera around there. especially with the corner coming up. Not sure what I was planning on doing. See, I took a wide line. I carried more speed. It's one reason why when there's a car coming or turning, we always say car up. So if somebody in the back is thinking about taking a wide line, they can change their line. You know, so they're not very far ahead. It's just a camera makes it seem like they're far ahead. And all I'm doing is keeping the speed so that these guys that went around that corner, since we went real slow, some people slow way down, and letting them get back on my wheel to have some kind of shelter. Because you can hear that wind. Once we get out of here, the road opens. And it's on. So through here, I usually stay close to the guys in the front, so I don't end up doing a whole lot of chasing. But sometimes you can't help it, and I don't have a problem chasing. It gives me a workout. I don't need to worry about going to the front and doing anything. So right here, we were thinking about a car length. It just seems further than it is. Turn right. There's a corner coming up down there in about maybe 50 yards, and we turn right. And that's when the speed picks up, because in this corner here, a lot of people are gapped because they fall too far back. That's another thing when you're riding the group. You got to be vigilant. You got to stay close so you don't waste energy. If you notice, I closed it up, and there's a gap right here. Tom left a gap, and I immediately took it. I got on Thomas's wheel. So we got two Tom in the group, but Tom, the other Tom behind us talking about. And so Paul comes up on my left here. He's moving up, and so I left a gap for him to get in. I'm not sure what was going on. I don't think he wanted to be back there. Some people don't pay attention. They leave gaps, and then you end up working really hard. So I think he wanted to move up. I told him to stay there so he wouldn't follow me, because I wasn't making an attack here. I was coming to give Lori a break. Lori doesn't ride with us all the time. She comes from time to time, but she'd been up there for a while. So I figured I'd give her a break. So I picked up the speed just enough to get in front of her. And the terrain changes. It's not going to register. It says -0 on the screen. But if you look at the picture, it's going up. So my speed's gonna go from 26 to about 24. I don't fight the bike. I keep the power the same. And so I'm speeding this up here so you guys can see I was there for about probably 3 minutes. I pulled for a long time. I had a big gear. You look at my cadence, I got up to the mid 80s. But look at my heart rate. It just stayed about the same. I try to keep the power the same. I use heart rate for that reason. You know, even if I'm time trialing, I can keep the power the same. It's a counter, it's a number that helps me gauge my effort. So it doesn't matter what my body's doing that day. Whatever number is giving me, I say, okay, I'm going to ping this number and just keep it there. And that's what I wanted to show here. I stayed up there for quite a while and just pulled to give enough of a break to help the group move along. And right here, my speed goes down to 21, but it's not significant because look at my heart rate, 176. That's what I look at, you know. And when I had a power meter, that's what I looked at, with the power meter in conjunction with my heart rate. I kept those two numbers together. We go up an incline here, my heart rate went up 1 beat. That's because I didn't force the pace. So you gotta know how to dish out your effort. Coming to an intersection. This is where I lost the attack last week. And at some point it dawned on me how long I had gone and how hard and long I had gone. And I talked with Paul about that later. But I didn't realize I had gone that long. It was almost 2.5 minutes. And you can see the pavement here is wet.
How are you been?
I'm great. I miss you. Simi.
That's Paul talking with Laurie.
Yeah, I had some bike issues too. Yeah. So I did text her a card.
Time to go.
So now I've already pulled for about 3 minutes. nobody's really in a hurry to get up front here because we're going into the wind. And so I went ahead and continued, but I wasn't going to stay there. You can see the water on the side of the road. I'm really glad I had fenders on that day. It worked out perfectly. But I decided to just kind of ease the speed because everybody's still turning to get it up to speed. But I wasn't going to stay there. So as soon as we cleared this area, there's a shoulder. Right here, the shoulder starts. I'll go ahead and move over, and I waved whoever was behind me. I think Bob ended up coming to the front. I think it was Bob. Bob's in yellow. Yeah, Bob. So Bob continued. I thought other people would come. So you can see there's a little bit of a gap. And so I moved back because nobody was on Bob's wheel. And so I moved back, but I didn't accelerate or anything. I just kept my speed steady to get up to Bob. You know, a lot of people, new riders, when you talk to them about, you know, holding your position in the pack, what I found is when it's hard enough, it's not hard to hold your position in the pack because nobody wants to be up there for the most part because you get better draft when you have a big group. So when you cut down to like a little breakaway, everybody's got to get the taste of front. So over here, Bob starts. We're going up a hill. He pulled for quite a while, at least 3 minutes. And right here, you can see him rocking. And I've been shifting. I've been downshifting. He didn't shift. So I push him here. I move up and I push him. You know, and he thanked me for it. You know, he kind of laughed about it. But he didn't downshift. I downshifted at least twice. You know, it's like a 2% climb. It's very deceiving because it doesn't look steep, but you feel it. That's what I was standing up on when I launched the attack last week. So I pushed him just enough to where he could get. You could tell he was rocking and stuff like that. So that's so we're coming to a light. That's the traffic light there.
Actually got to see it.
I was telling Paul that I just got to see the distance I covered last Saturday on that attack, and I was telling him why did I go that. I was thinking why did I go that hard for that long?
From the wheel,
so
yeah.
It's just, I guess, the moment.
The guys are turning.
That car is turning left. They have the right of way. So I thanked him.
Thank you.
I was trying to tell these guys to stop because I err on the side. I'm much rather chase than to get hit by a car. So we're chasing here because the front guys are already gone. From the break, what happens? People leave in little groups. We don't all leave together necessarily all the time. And so if you lag behind, you got to work. And for some reason, there was a break in between. So we're like group C here now, I think. So I'm just kind of watching. I'm going up a little climb here. If you see my cadence is up now, just out of habit. I just downshifted on the hills, even though I had planned to muscle gears. You can see Tom's pushing a big gear up there. And so I always downshift on a climb. I like spinning. But you've got to be able to build some strength too. You can't just spin the light gear all the time. So I decided to start like a little pace line, like a rotating pace line. Since it's windy, I decided to just kind of go up because you see people up there. There's splits. We got like 2 splits. So we're in group 3. So I move over. Paul is going to come by because we're going to start rotating. And, you know, I don't even have to say anything to Paul. He knows it. I move over by the white line. There's a dead possum on the road. Possum was calling everyone. So we're going downhill here. And there's Paul. On cue, Paul rolls in, gives me a wheel, roll over. Instead of Tom rolling over, he takes off. So I just go ahead and come around Paul and give him a wheel. See, Tom didn't go anywhere. Instead of working with the group, you know. So a lot of riders ride bikes, but they're not really sure what's going on, you know. So sometimes it's like, okay, you know, Andy takes off. So So at this point, we're turning right soon. So I told Paul to settle down because he was ready to start chasing, just instinct. I told him settle down.
What's the white lines?
From all the rides in the wet, I've learned to respect those white lines. So I don't mess with them. They're painted like they might as well be plastic on the road.
Let's go, short line.
This is a very short line, so we're moving through. There's a guy behind me, Kurt, the one that got dropped. He had regrouped with us because at the light at the ball pole, we stopped at a store. I edited that out, but he had regrouped, so he's here. That's Mustard, the brewer, UMC brewer, and Kurt is back here.
Kurt's right.
Tom was asking for Kurt. I told him Kurt's back there. So that's Kurt. Kurt has not been riding with us, and I think he's behind on his training. So he struggled this whole ride. So that's Kurt. So I decided to move up to Group A. And if you watch, my cadence is just going to kick up. Because Mustard's going up there, it's taking forever to close the gap, and I just 120 cadence plus, boom, close the gap. You got to be able to do that. You got to be able to ride at 80. You got to be able to ride at 120. I revved it up, got up there. It's not easy by any means. You can see my heart rate went up, and I got in and just slipped in. And now I'm staying to the left of Paul so you guys can have a view because that camera is on my handlebar. If I go directly behind Paul, you won't even be able to see. So we're in the front now. We're with the front group. That's Alan right there, 2 riders up, all in black. That's Andy in the yellow right there with a UMC jersey on. And it's just Paul. Now Paul's one of my clients, Alan's one of my clients. Look at Paul's position. I mean, just smooth. That's what a good fit does. And Alan also, we'll have better shots of Alan later when we're both at the front rotating, and you'll see. If you look at Paul, man, he's just effortless, and that's the way you're supposed to be, just smooth. Only your legs should be doing the work. Look at Paul. Look at Paul's the steadiness of his upper body, and we're moving at 22 miles an hour up an incline. This is Cochrane's Crossing. It's a grade. It doesn't register on there, but it's a grade. There, 1% showed up. And this is Alan. Alan's my other client. Alan's bike I used to do the slamming stem video. That was fairly popular. I want you guys to watch Alan's position. He's gonna stand here. That's Bob up there. We're going up a grade here. It doesn't register, but it's a grade. There's a Terramont in the woodlands. Bob's at the front. We're carrying 20 miles an hour. It's at least a 1% grade. There it is. It showed up. It's a grade and it's a long grade. And look at Alan's upper body, steady. Just his legs are moving. Just steady. That's efficiency. So all that wasted motion does not help you. When your bike fits you, you shouldn't need to be wasting energy. So Alan pulled for a while. I had to edit it out because it was at least 3 minutes. And so over here we had gone through a stop sign. Alan slowed down, so Paul came around to avoid hitting his brakes. I kind of know how he rides. So I came back around him so that, because I would be taking the next pull when Alan pulled off. This is almost at the end of Alan's pull. So he had been there for about 3 minutes, sitting at the front on that Terramont Parkway. He's about to pull. Oh, there's somebody on the right. I think there's a runner. Just letting us know. So now Alan pulls off. I see him take a bottle. Now, old school stuff, you don't change the pace. He just took a long pull. So if you watch my speed, it's 20. He was doing 20. If you were keeping your eye on the speed, he was doing 20. I'm doing 20. I speed it up here because I'm there for a while. And I want you guys to look at my effort. Look at my heart rate. Keeps going up. We're going into the wind. The wind that was bringing us out this morning, we've turned around. We've looped. So even though the speed stayed the same, my effort kept going up. That's the same thing that happens when you're on a climb. When you're climbing, your heart rate keeps going up. even if you keep the speed steady, because there's no rest, you know. It is just relentless. So it's the same thing. So you can use the wind to train for hills, and that's what I'm doing there. If you look at my cadence, 70 to 80 thereabouts. I mean, I had planned to do that all day, you know. And this is where I pull off. Lori takes over. But I just wanted to explain. That's why I kept that in there and sped it up. Normally I would cut it out. You know, you live in a flat area, use the wind. You treat it like a mountain. You're 30 minutes into the wind, yeah, it's a workout. You know, so everybody rolling through. I'm going all the way to the back, and that's Kurt. He's hanging in. That's Bob. You know, Bob's an all-around strong boy. I slipped behind Bob. Alan's back there, hanging off the group a little bit, so I just slipped in front of him. You know, but you can see my heart rate is like 174. We're doing about 20. It says 25, 26. At this point, it says -0. Felt like a flat road to me. It didn't feel like it was going downhill. But I don't pay too much attention to the speed. I look at my effort. You know, and I don't need the numbers necessarily. I can tell by how it feels, whether I'm going harder, about the same. You know, and that's something you acquire over time. You just got to be in tune. You know, it really helps to be in tune. So you can see as we begin to coast, my heart rate starts rolling back. That's a sign of you being fit when you recover quickly. I mean, it's dropped more than 10 beats just to roll to this light. You know, and that's what it takes. If you're not fit and your heart rate goes up, it just stays. It takes a while for it to roll back. So
Corey, way to represent. You got your ladies over there. You're out
there's
front of this group of men.
There's some ladies across the street facing us on bicycles, and Andy was telling Lori that she's representing because she brought us to the light at speed. You know, so this is after the light. We're headed down. There's a slight, it says flat here, but it felt like a downhill anyway. But I'm looking around to see what's going on up there, because after we got through the light, somebody took off. And so I'm on the back to give you guys a good shot, because I wanted to spend a lot of time back here to see, but then I see gaps developing. And so I moved over. Kurt looks like he's coasting here. I move over, yep, there's the gap. And I move up and tell Paul to take it easy. I don't want him working too hard.
Kilo. Take it easy.
Because he still needs to let his back heal. So I'll get in front of him. I'm dragging a big gear. You can see my cadence lower than normal. I think 20 RPMs below where I normally pedal. But I roll up to that. I'm probably in a 16 or something like that. I wasn't looking. I just do it by feel. So I roll up to that. This road curves to the left and it goes up. So it gets more difficult soon. You see my cadence right there. I'm trying to keep it around. My goal is 70 to 85 for this whole ride. That was my plan, because I'm going on a trip with my wife. I was going on a trip with my wife. We went on Sunday, so I wasn't going to ride. So I wanted my legs to be tired, because I'd have Sunday for them to recover. It takes me about 24 hours. I'm good to go. I recovered fairly well, very quickly. So Laurie pulls off. We're going uphill here. It doesn't register, but it's a grade. You know, nothing's coming. We roll through the sign. This is Bob. Bob's always at the front. Bob spends a lot of time at the front. Very strong rider. And so I'm just sitting on his wheel, just, you know, hanging in there. When the ride gets hard enough, it's easy to end up at the front if you're feeling good, because everybody's trying to stay behind for shelter. Which is smart, because if you're not feeling good, why pull? Why pull and then get dropped? You need to stay. Even if you end up at the front, pull off immediately and go back in there, so you can use your energy that you have to stay with the group. We don't have to wait for you or worry about you. Don't take a pull and then get dropped. That makes no sense. There's nothing to prove. So just, you know, this is Gladstone. Gladstone used to come and ride with us every now and then, but he always struggled with the pace. We hadn't seen him in a while. It was nice to see him out on his bike. He lives pretty close to where I am. Yeah, if he's still there. So Bob turned here, and then he did something unusual. He pulled off, but didn't slow down. So I didn't take the lead. Watch his speed. We're doing 19. He pulls off, then he speeds up. Look, 20. So I'm like, forget you. If you pull off and you don't slow down, I guess you still want to be there. I'll let you lead. So he came back. So I'm not sure what he was doing. Then Lori goes. That's an attack. She launches. All of a sudden, look at the speed. So we get to like 25. So I got a little irritated and I kicked it to 30. Thereabouts. We're going up a hill too, so it was ill-advised. And so right here, it gets 2%. So I'm downshifting, keeping the same power, but the speed's dropping because of the grade. Yeah, that's funny. So I'm not sure what Bob was doing. Because if you pull off, ladies and gentlemen, you need to slow down. Pull off, soft pedal, so the group can keep moving. If you speed up when you slow down, I'm not going faster than you. That means you got more, you can sit up there longer. Yeah, now here, this is a good example of what I was talking about earlier. I call that car because we got a lot of people coming behind me. I'm riding for them, the last guy. So I said car up so nobody would take a wide turn. And I continue to pull. This is a little zigzag shortcut we take before we get back to the main highway. And at this point I really wasn't going that hard, just kind of rolling with the speed, but just keeping it going. You know. There's mustard, so the brewer comes over. And it looks like Bob. That's Bob again. Bob's up there. So I just kind of hang back, you know. I don't like to expend too much energy unless I'm doing something. So I just figure I'm just going to keep rolling and see what develops. So Mustard's grinding. He didn't shift. So I just roll by him. Even though I'm pushing too, but it's within reason. I'm not sure what gear he was in, but he didn't shift. So it takes him a while to get his momentum going again. So I'm at 90 RPMs, which for me is... it's pretty reasonable, I guess. I usually pedal faster than that. So Tom's down the road, Bob's down the road, people are on my wheel, and I start to gradually get up to speed. 20. I'm keeping it reasonable. Lori goes. I decide I'm not going to expend any energy because I'm not going to have any trouble. That's Alan, and that's what I was talking about. You see Alan's position? Body doesn't move, just spinning. You know. You look at my cadence, I'm over 100, even though I had planned not to spin today. The body doesn't forget. And so somehow, I think we went through a little downhill or something, I don't know. But anyway, this is a grade here. So I'm riding the same gear. I'm not slowing down much. They're slowing down. I'm a single rider. I roll through this turn. I stay on the same gear. I don't watch my heart rate. It's not gonna go up much. Now, you see my hands on the hooks? When I do that, my nose is right over the stem. I am low. We're going into the wind, and I put my nose down, and I'm pedaling, and I'm back in the groove. I went up maybe 1 or 2 beats, just sipping the gas. So I'm back in here, just sitting in there. There are people behind me, and that's Bob just pulled off the front. There's Alan up there. And we're headed to an area where all those hills, like last time we went through, and people get excited, a lot of attacks, and so it's fun, So we're just sitting in. There's Paul. Now Paul's been doing us all right. I don't know why he keeps coming around. I'm gonna have to ask him what he was doing. I left the gap open for him to get in, but I guess he didn't want to be around where he was or something. I'm sure he had a good reason, Paul is a Terminator. He sees everything, so I never got a chance to ask him. I haven't yet, but I would ask him what he was doing. So we're coming to the light before the hills start. And that's the fun part of this ride. I love those hills. There's Mustard. Mustard, a big strong boy. A red and white kid. That's Andy and the yellow kid there. Andy runs also. Andy's a runner. Mustard runs as well. I didn't know that. I just saw him on Strava, so I don't Strava.
I only have 31 distance, I think, when I started. I didn't start the timer on it, so I didn't register the first like 10, 15 miles.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, not. How many?
I got 50 kilometers, about 30 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alan didn't start his computer. They start earlier than we do because we meet them. And he said he didn't record the first 7 miles. So he didn't start his computer early, so he's talking about. I keep mine in kilometers. I can convert pretty easily. I like the metric system. But he's got about 31 miles. I got 30 miles. So he must have started it about a mile before I started mine, something like that. So now we're going, and this first little bump is not much. You know, you just gotta roll. The next one gets up to like 4%. It gets a little steep. At this point, I'm just hanging back and watching because my goal is just to make my legs hurt. So I'm not spinning as much as I do. And in fact, I see 97, 98. Usually I'm about triple digits, but old habits die hard. Regardless of my plan, I think I spun in here. I think I spun more. I don't know. Anyway, right here, I decided to go by everybody to catch up. There are people off the front. So yeah, triple digits. This is basically I'm putting down some power because this is steep. It says 2, it's really 4%. So I get up to Alan. So Alan and Laurie are off the front. So I went around. And you got to be able to train hard so that when you ride with the group, you have enough to be able to make these kind of moves. Go with the moves, move up to the front, and so forth. That's why when I train, if I have the time, I do a little more than I think, because you got to do a little more. You can't show up with just enough. You got to do the work. And you look at Alan on the bike. Nothing's moving but his legs. So those of you who are moving all around, twisting, you're wasting energy. You need to be stable so you can pedal. The legs are like a fulcrum. Or levers, the levers that are moving. I guess the bike is the fulcrum. I don't know if I got that right. Anyway, I'm sure, what's his name? Vegas Cycling Freak will correct me. He's the engineer in the community. Your legs should be moving like pistons in an engine. And if you look at Alan's pedaling strokes, nice and smooth. So when you're comfortable, it's easy to pedal the bike. Laurie's been pulling for quite a while. Laurie's been doing some work on the bike because she's in good condition. Pulled off. I told her good pull, something like that. She was there for a while. But that's a good job, Laurie. So Alan's here now. Tom goes. So Tom accelerates. If you watch, look at my speed. All of a sudden it jumped to 29. We're going downhill, I think. Well, it's flat. but he went nowhere. So I was like, okay, what was that about? And so at this point, I thought we're done. So I just sat in. I wasn't really in an attacking mood per se. But if you look at Alan's cadence and look at Tom's cadence, I mean, just tremendous difference. So snap, you need cadence for your snap. If you're pedaling a huge gear real slow, you just can't go anywhere. So Tom pulls off, and Alan's in the lead. And I think Alan downshifts at first. That was what I noticed anyway. Because his cadence went up. Yeah, I think he downshifted. Right there, his cadence went up. So I downshifted too. And I just kept spinning. Then he stood up and he revved it. I shifted up. And I think he shifted again and got in the drops. I was still on the hoods. And he pulled away. I was like, good sprint. That was it. My legs were like, forget you. You've been beating us up all right. So that's it, kids. That was a beautiful sprint. So, so I caught up with him later and told him good sprint. At this point, we had dropped a bunch of people. People had fallen off the pace in those hills. So we were waiting. Alan just kept rolling to loosen up. We caught up with him later once we got out of this path. So I held the rail here and just waited. Guys were caught at the light back there. So just waited right here. So this is on the way back. I don't know how we end up chasing. I always end up chasing on this road on the way back. Because people leave and then we're talking and this and that. So we get on this road. Alan's chasing. That's Kurt. Kurt's off the pace already on the way back. We're going home. Kurt's been struggling the whole ride, but at least he knows to take it easy. So we roll up. Alan's pulling. He seemed to be doing okay. I rolled up. I'm going a lot faster than he is because I'm trying to close a gap here. And I just roll up. I think Paul's on my wheel or something. I may have waited for him or something. So now, yeah, so we've caught up to the guys that they didn't break away from us. They just left the stop earlier than we did. So now I just go ahead and move to the front. I kind of like the wind for some reason. And I had planned to make my legs hurt anyway. And I've been beating them up all right. So I roll to the front. The wind is in our face. If you look at my RPM in the mid-70s, I just told Laurie that I was coming in to just give her a break. Watch my heart rate. I'm going to probably speed it up because I'm there for a while. 165 right now. Oh yeah, I guess I did. I think I must have edited it out. Yeah, I pulled for quite a while. I'm working. Camera makes it seem like I'm more upright than I actually am.
Claire.
I'm turning left here. I think we're about third in line here. I think Alan's in the front. And Paul's in front of him, in front of me, behind Alan. These are two guys that I fitted. Look at Alan in the front.
Keep driving.
Look at his position. Look at Paul. Alan used to have pain in his back when he would ride. I think had like an injury or something for some time, and so he helped me tweak his saddle. I think he said he liked it tilted a little down, so after we set it, we tilted it down a little bit. Then we got his bars tweaked. We lowered his bars, and it seemed to have worked out. But he looks very stable, very good on the bike. So we went through that corner. I'm hanging back to let people stay on my wheel, get a little bit of shelter, and then I'm rolling up to Allen.
Yeah, this is sweet. It's beautiful. This is how you should pave roads. Lori likes the pavement. I told her it's beautiful.
I love that road, this road here. When I put on my Victorias, they sing on this road. Lori's just mentioning how much she likes the pavement. I moved to the front to give Ellen a spell. And for the rest of the ride, pretty much, it's Alan and myself trading positions at the front. We're headed into the wind and nobody wants to deal with it. I mean, it's 3 hours in and people are feeling the effects.
Flare left. All right, going.
So right here, I'm in a big gear and I just kind of gradually roll it to give people a chance to get back up to speed. Purposely take my time to get it back up to speed so there aren't any gaps. Because that rain that night before that was probably precursor to a front, because it was windy, and the day after this ride it was super windy. So we turn right here. It's clear. You see how wet the pavement is. The funny thing about riding in the rain on a wet day, the pavement does not scare you. It's like I didn't give it much of a thought. I was mostly warning the others. As Alan, so Alan comes to give me a break. And look at this position. Just steady, smooth, compact. Just look at that. Steady. No movement, just pedal. That's the way you're supposed to look on the bike, folks. If you don't look like that on the bike, fire your fitter and come see me. This is a 5% hill. My register at 4, but it's high. It's short, but it's steep. So I'm sprinting in a big gear up there. I just want my legs to hurt. Because after this ride, we're going out of town, so I'm just gonna be hanging. So I'm not gonna ride on Sunday. So I figure I'd make my legs hurt. And you look at my heart rate, 176. That's zone 4, middle zone 4. And we're doing 18. There, about going into the wind. Alan comes again. So it's just Alan and myself, the only people who want to deal with the front. so when he comes around, nobody's on his wheel. I just roll up to his wheel and sit on, catch my breath. And you can look at his position. Look how steady he is. That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's a fit. Look at that. That's a fit. Okay. And he's not even super low. He's on the tops. So when he gets in the drop, he's low. It's an old school fit, just like the boys Mertz and them used to look like. Low. Sit back and low. That's how you power a bicycle. He's on the tops and spinning. 0. So when he gets to the drop, goes down at least another 6 inches, if not more. He's got deep drop bars because he's got big hands. Messing around. The ride's over. I'm just I just want to make my legs hurt. Alan just ignored me. I sprinted to the stop sign, the great equalizer from last week. So that's it, guys. That's what I did on Saturday. Sorry it took a day or so. Usually I try to turn this thing around, but I needed to hang out with my wife for a change instead of these bikes. This is where I bid.
Lori, good luck with that clean.
This is where I bid the boys and girls farewell. Lori had a problem with her cleat that was worked on. She had a fit done by somebody else, so I suggested that she get it sorted. That's what I did, guys. I hope you have fun watching it. It's longer than the one before, but the story was too deep. I couldn't take out too much.